Good morning, fifth grade. It's Mrs. Easley. Welcome back to school and welcome to our first Bible lesson of the year. It's really good to see everyone. As I thought about the Bible lesson today, I thought, what a more appropriate lesson than the one we have scheduled for today. It's on courage, and I'm going to talk about David and Goliath. And we all probably know the story. We've probably heard it in Sunday school. I know for sure we've heard it here at Christian Unified. About the story of David and Goliath, but I wanted to put a little bit different spin on it today and get you thinking a little bit as we start this new year as fifth graders and maybe how we want to carry out the new year. And so let's get started. I'm going to first give you a little recap so that we can kind of talk about where we are with David, who has already been anointed king, but obviously King Saul is still in charge of the Israelites, and so David's a young boy, and he can't be in charge yet. So the Israelite army is fighting the Philistine army, and kind of to set the stage there, the Israelite army is up on one hill and the Philistines are on another, and there's a valley in between them. And remember Goliath, old Goliath, he comes out every day teasing and taunting the Israelites, and to the point where he's so confident in himself. I love this. He says, if you will send out a man who fights me, and he actually wins, we will be your servants. He's super confident. Big guy, giant guy, big heavy armor, big spear, and he really has the Israelites frightened. And in fact, in one point in Scripture, in our teaching from Samuel chapter 17, Scripture tells us that the Israelite army was greatly afraid. In fact, it goes on to say they were dreadfully afraid. He had just teased and taunted to the he was like a modern day bully. That's what he was. He was a bully, and he would come out every day. Send your best man out, this and that. So David, who was not in Saul's army at this point, he was still a young boy. He was back with Jesse, his dad, tending sheep, which was his job, and he had 3 brothers, however, that were serving on the front lines with Saul's army. And so Jesse one day says, David, come over here. Listen, I need you to take this bread and the cheese, and I need you to take it to Saul's army and to check on your brothers for me. What any good dad would do, right? Go check in and see how everyone's doing, and let me know how your brothers are doing. So David goes, and he hears this teasing and taunting, and he's like, what's going on? Like, who is that? Well, of course, it's Goliath doing his daily routine of teasing and taunting the Israelites. And so David, full of strength and courage and might, says to Saul, he starts to ask Saul, like, let me go. I love his words. I'm going to read it straight from Scripture. It's from Samuel chapter 17 and verse 32. It says, then David said to Saul, let no man's heart fail because of him, talking about Goliath. Your servant, me, I will go and fight this Philistine. Now I'm sure Saul's thinking like you're like 11, like you really, like you're gonna go and fight. So Saul, and David convinced him. He says, you know what, I'm wrestling lions and I'm wrestling bears, and I win. Like I wrestle them down and I fight them, I win. Let me go. So Saul finally gives in and lets David go. And so I just wanted to point out that is what in biblical times the face of courage looked like. They battled a lot. They were at war a lot in biblical times. And so for David, this young boy, to come forward and say, I'll go to battle. I'll go battle this Philistine. I'll go stop that teasing and taunting, was a big deal. Let's take a video clip. Let's take a look at this video clip that I downloaded for you guys. I want you to see the face of courage today. Let's see what the face of courage looks like today.
Courage is probably the strength to do something you've never done before. My name is Johnny Romano, and I am 9 years old, and I live in Galveston, Texas. I was diagnosed with leukemia in 2005. I didn't really know what was going on, so I kind of felt a little scared, but not too scared.
Everything Johnny does shows courage. I remember when he was first diagnosed, he just wanted to know when he could go skateboarding again.
I like to skateboard because I like to go fast, and it just feels cool when you're in the air and doing tricks. If you're trying a new trick, it might be kind of scary at first. You know you're gonna fall. But then once you try it a couple times, you kind of get used to it. I had never done a cutout as big as that one, and I kept clipping and clipping and clipping. It took me forever to make it, but I finally did it. And I'm pretty stoked about that.
You know, every time he goes out there and competes, he's showing an incredible amount of courage. I think that's what so inspired the skateboard companies to use him as a role model.
We went to the Make-A-Wish Foundation at Southside Skate Park, and I met Jim Tebow, the owner of Deluxe, and he was like, if we make him a board, because I was going through real hard chemo, do you think it would feel better? And my dad was like, sure. So he made me 5 boards, and then he said, well, these boards turned out really cool. Do you mind if we put them in a few shops?
The company donates the proceeds to the Make-A-Wish Foundation.
Last year, I was able to make $6,000 for Make-A-Wish.
Well, today Johnny's here for his spinal tap.
A spinal tap is when they stick a needle in your spine and take fluid out and see if there's any cancer cells.
We know that leukemia can spread to the lining of the brain and the spinal fluid.
Just the thought of getting a needle stuck in your spine is kind of freaky to me, but the doctors here are really nice and they take really good care of me. I don't really think about how scary it is. I just think about I'm gonna get this over with.
If your classmate has cancer or one of your friends, they're still that same little girl or boy that you knew before they got cancer. And what they need more than anything else is strength and support and friendship and love.
Whether I'm doing a new skateboard trick or I'm here in the hospital getting chemo or something, I don't really think about how scary it is. I just think about I'm gonna land this or I'm gonna get this over with.
Wow, 5th grade. What an amazing story of this young boy who's battling leukemia. And I love how it just hasn't even slowed him down. And he is still skateboarding. In fact, he's sponsored by a lot of companies. And, you know, he goes in for treatment and then he's just getting on with it, like being a kid, just like you. And so I love that story. I thought it was so inspiring of how, you know, he is afraid, but he's conquering fear with courage. And so what happened to our story with David? Like, he goes out, they try to suit him up for armor, and the armor's, you know, clanking on him. It doesn't even fit. But David goes out, gathers up 5 smooth stones, friends, 5 smooth stones, puts them in a sack with a slingshot, and he goes out and confronts Goliath. Now, you can imagine, I'm sure both armies were like, is this really happening? Like, is this young boy going to come out and fight against this giant Goliath? But he did. And he walks out, he takes out 1 stone, puts it in his slingshot, 1 stone, fires 1 stone, slung 1 stone, scripture tells us, hits Goliath right in the forehead and kills him. Wow, that is amazing. That is a story of courage, of a young boy going out to battle this 8 to 10 foot giant that's teasing and taunting. In fact, he was so intimidating that he had the Israelite army greatly afraid and dreadfully afraid. That's what we read in scripture. And David goes out and kills this giant. So great story of courage. I can't even imagine how that looked in those times. But you know, all of us are courageous today. We all have fears, worries, anxieties, troubles, things that bother us, things that we need to be encouraged in. And so this year, my challenge is to you, 5th grade friends, to write down, take your prayer journal right now, And I want you to write down 3 things that you would like to conquer this year, whether it's fear, anxiety, worry, wondering. I want you to write them down. Write them down. The things that you need to be encouraged in this year. What are they? Test taking, friends for the year, homework for the year. Who am I going to sit by at lunch? Any and all of those things. Being new at the school this year, are you going to be the 5th grader who welcomes any new student this year over to the lunch table to sit with you this year? Any fear, worry, anxiety, anything that you need to be encouraged in, I want you to write it down in your prayer journal. In fact, even if you have I even thought of this for myself. I'm going to take a smooth stone and I'm going to write down, what are my fears, worries, anxieties for this upcoming school year? And literally, I'm going to throw my stone and throw them away, put them down. And I want you to do the same. Write them down in your prayer journal, and we're going to work on them throughout the year. We're going to pray about them, and we're going to work through it. We're going to encourage each other. And anyway, I wanted to encourage you with one more video clip. I want you to remember something too, 5th grade. That remember 1 John 4, verse 4. He who is in you is greater than he who is in the world. I want you to be of good courage this year. I want you to pray over any worries, pray over any fears, and I want to encourage you. So I have one more video clip. Super, super cool, super encouraging. Thanks, 5th grade. Let's have a great year.
This one goes out to the heroes. Everyday heroes. Yeah, I'm talking to you. You probably are like, I'm not a hero, you're talking to the wrong person. And I'm all like, you're talking to your TV. So listen up. I think you're a hero and you don't even know it yet. Maybe you're like me, you look in the mirror and you don't really see a hero. You look and you just see a regular kid. A really good looking regular kid. But you're a hero. Whether you're a kid or a grown-up. You're way more than you might think you are. You're more than your problems and you're more than your mistakes. Somewhere inside, you're a hero. You might not have a cape or wear underwear outside your clothes. That's probably a good thing. You have everything right now to change the world. Everything! Heroes are just ordinary people who've done extraordinary things. They inspire other people to be extraordinary. People like Nathaniel. He's 12 years old and he's now okay with the fact that there are people in the world who don't have clean water. He raised enough money to help 30 schools in Central Africa. Madison, when she was 15, she created a beauty pageant for boys and girls that have special needs because she wanted to celebrate real beauty. My friend Bob, he's 55 and he's living out love in so many different ways. Right now he's working on building a school so kids in Uganda know they're loved. Kids can change the world and grown-ups can change the world. It would go a whole lot faster if we worked together. Heroes are made when ordinary people like you and me decide to be extraordinary. Or extra ordinary. Extra ordinary. That's too many extras. Here's what I'm trying to say. If you want to be awesome, treat people awesome. It's about strength. Firepower! Not like picking up a car kind of strength. I'll pick it up and just drop it and go like, oh, he's so nerdy, but so strong. I want to go out with him. He can pick up a car. But it's not about that. I'm talking about compassion. Nothing stronger than that. It's what changes things. So who's been a hero to you? Da-da-da. Parents? Teachers? Friends? Let them know. Heroes don't always know that you're heroes. We all need reminders. The little things that we do are a big deal. Heroes are people in our lives who see us what we really are. Awesome. Did you hear that? I said it. You're awesome! You're awesome! You don't need a cape and you don't need money. You don't even need to be bitten by something radioactive. You just need to care. And if you are bitten by something radioactive, you should go to a doctor, sir. It'll make your pee green. It would be cool to fly or be part spider or be part squirrel. I don't think part smart squirrel is a thing. Is that a thing? Like a man squirrel? But you're already filled with superpowers. So don't wait for a signal in the sky. Look a little closer at the world around you. You're ready right now. It's time to be the hero that you're meant to be, Cape. What are you not okay with? Think about it. Now what do you have? And who can you bring with you? Everybody! 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 You have everything that you need to make someone's day more awesome. Someone may never told you this, but I promise it's true. The world needs heroes, and that hero could be you. That hero could be you. And that hero could be you. Yeah. Let's do this.